Family, hi, welcome to another on Truth and Love the Church with your brother Joseph. So my phone has been buzzing, with a lot of messages. A lot of you have been reaching me on Telegram, Facebook, everywhere, where you're talking about this challenge.
Okay, if anyone can prophesy, or there's a witch doctor who can see, who gets to hear things from demons,
right?
Yes.
Can I
arrange that you come here on Sunday? We're not praying for I'll put something in my pocket. The one who can tell me what is in my pocket.
Borrow $1 million US dollars.
Borrow $1 million. $1 million. In front of all these people, we signed an agreement. Wait, hold on. Because you are saying and they hear from demons, okay. I don't have that money, but we'll sign an agreement where you can sue me. You've got no names or anything like that. I'll stand here and say, what is in my pocket? Do you see that even if we put $1 million, they'll definitely want $1 million.
So he's actually issuing a challenge to prophets in Zimbabwe and, sangomas in Zimbabwe and all those things, and we've been seeing some responses and reactions, by various prophets. We also have, one prophet known as Miracle Paul actually came out and said that
sei nini pandiri panapa pakaita neutral venue ngatiti National Sports Stadium anditika iwe wati uri muprofita unoda kuti uonewo mamaprofita tinosangana kapa National Sports Stadium atisi vanhu vanoda kutaura kuti vanhu for years we have been seeing this trend coming on our way. I respected a lot of prophets here. Never tinoziva newe wakatokudzidzisa chiprofita tinowaziva kuona wewe ukanga chiprofita chikanga chaenda chakutiza taura chokwadi kuti hama dzangu panapa ina anchagona kuprofita chiprofita chakanditiza kuna kuzore pfamba wakutora kuti muziwa zvakadzinge chizoti zvechiprofita izvi hama zangu zvinotiza ukazvitadzira chipo chamwari chinoenda usara usisina usara wagaba ungofanana negaba rebhinzi inodyiwa bhinzi kapera ngwendere renge rakuita too much noise kana iri nguva yevamwe shana na vamwe well. So
that was his submission, and for other people like Pashan Java, he actually came out and say that, I will bring a cripple to your church, and if you can, heal this cripple, I'll give you $10 million. So the thing is becoming funnier and funnier, and a lot of people have been asking, saying that, what about Prophet Angel? Is he referring to Prophet Angel? I don't really think he's referring to Prophet Angel, because concerning Prophet Angel, this is what he already came out to say.
I've told you guys several times that when it comes to visions of the day, where you have a man that can either close his eyes or open his eyes and he can see at any given moment. Prophet Hubert Angel. Now people talk about hundreds and thousands of prophets. I have my own way of interacting with gifts. If I'm not sure of what I'm seeing concerning you, there's one man that I can call now. And I say to him, talk to me about this man. I'm trying to help a gentleman here, but there is something that is not coming out clear. Can you share? And we put the phone on loudspeaker. And then you can ask him any question. As long as it is the prophetic. You don't come across such an eye. I'm very careful when I'm choosing connections. I tried that gift myself. I was smart enough even back then to verify if the thing is authentic.
That's all there is. And as for people like Prophet Magaya, that is Prophet Joshua's spiritual son, well, he doesn't comment about things like this. He takes after his father. He doesn't even comment. So there is no comment from him. And other prophets also, others are just silent, But I've been receiving also some video links and clips where some of you were saying, isn't this a fulfillment also of Pastor Ndlovu's prophecy?
I want us to say two preachers in Aran. So there is a vision that I saw. In this vision, I saw two preachers. The Lord said, look at them closely. Both of these men wore flowing white gowns, which reached to the ankles, which were made of embossed linen. Furthermore, I saw these two preachers spitting out of their mouth tadpoles. You know, young ones of frogs. They are called tadpoles. We call them mama vuruvuru. I don't think it's a Ndebele word, but that's what we call them, mama vuruvuru. It looks like a fish, but then later on it develops legs. And later on the tail disappears. It becomes a frog, a fully grown frog. So these preachers, they were spitting out tadpoles and the smaller frogs. The younger of the two preachers was beating his chest because of his eloquence in explaining the Holy Scriptures. I saw tadpoles and the frogs come out of his mouth. I saw him make a lot of boastful things, boast a lot about the amount of revelation that he has. I talked about this young preacher before he became well known in the past. We deliberately didn't do a prophecy mind, but a lot of people asked me when this young preacher started to gain prominence. A young preacher based in Harare. I saw him spit onto the old preacher and many other people were around. He was just spitting at random. Sometimes he would be spitting saliva, sometimes he would be spitting tadpoles, sometimes he would be spitting frogs. Have I mentioned any name? There is no name that I've mentioned. The older preacher did not respond or retaliate, but he was also spitting frogs and tadpoles as well. There was a younger preacher and an older preacher. These are deceiving spirits that have been released by Satan to cause believers to stumble because of the fame and the charisma of these two men. God says we must pray for these two preachers or men who are based in Harar. The younger and more pompous of the two preachers is followed by a spirit of calamities. So God is saying we must pray for them and those who follow them, because they are headed astray. They are headed what? Astray. So initially when I was seeing the vision, because I saw the vision 2 or 3 times this year, I wanted to speak the vision, but it had no interpretation. And then I saw the vision more clear when I was seeing the faces of these people more clear and what they were spitting out of their mouths. And then I was asking for the interpretation. What does this mean? God says these are deceiving spirits that have been sent by Satan. These people, they think they've got a deep revelation of the word of Christ, but they are busy spitting out what? Deception. They are busy spitting out what? Deception. Right now, it's not clear to many people that these two preachers that I'm talking about are deceived. But let us wait for the next 2-3 years. It will become very clear because they will introduce, especially the older of the two.
That was Dr. Ndlovu's submission, and his followers are actually saying this is a fulfillment of the prophecy. So I just want to hear from you, I'm taking no side. I'm not approving of whatever statement, and I'm also not being critical of whatever statement, because a lot of people will say that go listen to the sermon and the like, but sometimes when things like this are said, it then really gets some of us confused. So we just need to pray for all ministers, for all men of God and the like, so that there can be unity in the body of Christ. So tell me what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. As per your request, I will come up with follow-up videos, after this one. That is if you're interested in this thing.